Good evening and welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster and I'm with the lovely
Sandra Scott, and our fabulous inspirational fundraiser. The guest today is...
Oh, it's me. It's Bernie Hollywood. So good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody.
And I should say Bernie Hollywood OBE.
Oh, there you go. I'm the founder of the Boat of Hope campaign, which we'll obviously hear a little bit more about later.
Yeah, which we're going to be very excited. We're going to find out all about that, Bernie, and we've got loads of questions to ask you. And you've got loads of stuff, and I'm very excited about this. So we'll be talking.
Our book is amazing. Yeah, absolutely incredible things happening.
Okay, so we always start off with a shout out to the kids, any young people who've done amazing things this week. So, Sandra, have you got any young people you want to give a shout out to?
No, I haven't got any little ones. Okay, I've got a grown up to give a shout out, so I'm saving that to the end.
Okay, well, I'm going to do two little shout outs then. First, I'm going to shout out to all of the new year sevens who are going to Formby High School. So yesterday we went and did a transition day with Lou, and they're starting school next week, and they're in all this week, to find their new school and find their new friends. And it was lovely. So it was like their first time, and they were in, and they all walked in a little bit shy, but by the end of it, they'd made new friends and things. So, and the school was lovely. So they were amazing. So exciting times for them, isn't it? Starting the big journey to the senior school. So big shout out to all those year sevens.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. And I want to give a shout out to all the kids getting their GCSE results on Thursday. Whether you get the grades or you don't, you're still an amazing human.
I have got a shout out to Sophie, who got her A-level results, which I'm delighted. I tutored her for Spanish and made up. She's off. She got the course she wanted, and she was only going to do English teaching as a second language. However, I persuaded her to carry on with the Spanish joint honours because she's just brilliant. And she does some teaching of little ones for me. So I'm made up for her and I love her to bits.
Brilliant. Well done, Soph. And what about you, Bernie? Have you got any little people, young people you want to give a shout out?
Yeah, I could go on for hours. Just a big thank you to all the children at St Ambrose Primary School in Speak, which is my own primary school of 45 years ago. They're a huge supporter of what we're doing. Whitefield Primary as well up in Everton. Love those kids to bits. Also, I've got a huge amount of children over at All Saints with the amazing Jeremy Barnes, who's the head teacher. And also over in the Wirral. Big shout out to Bidston Primary, who actually had me over there not so long ago with my Boat of Hope and made me feel so extremely welcome.
Oh, brilliant. Well done to all the little people just rocking it. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Success this week, personally for you. Something that's happened that's been amazing for you this week. Sandra, do you want to go first?
Well, I had a success. And I remember saying, I'm going to share that. I'm delighted with that. It's such good news. And then I forgot about my success because my son's article got published, which I'm just delighted, a paid journalistic piece. So I'm absolutely delighted about that. And I know you shared it on the page. I didn't like to, but you can't help it. You're so made up when your kids do something like that. So I was so pleased his article was published, and it was a longer one and he had to cut it down a bit. And it was about independent business and big chains, etc. So I'm just dead chuffed about that. I'm made up for him, really, to get an article published and paid for. So
yeah, brilliant. It was cool, and it was a great article as well, and I did share it for people to have a little read and
click on it.
Click on it, like it, share it, do all the magic that you need to do. And what about you, Bernie?
Well, yeah, great news this week that we had our first meeting as the Boat of Hope campaign with Liverpool Cathedral. So we met with the incredible Paul Smith, who's the creative director at the cathedral, about our Boat of Hope exhibition, which is happening on the 23rd of May, 2023. And we've got an amazing program happening over the 2 weeks of our exhibition, which basically features artwork from the children of Merseyside about what hope means to them. It features the boat as well in an interactive experience, amazing lighting and sound effects as well from the ocean. We also have a nave which is going to be dedicated to the 300 young people that lost their lives to suicide last year, whereby you can actually light a candle to celebrate their actual lives, and obviously sort of to show your respect. And plus, great news is that Bernie and Boaty, the book, is actually being made into a play, which will actually be performed live at the cathedral during our exhibition.
That was not we've got so much stuff going on. I can't wait to hear all about it. What about you, Helen? Have you had a success this week?
So I had an amazing success, and it was our very, very first ever success in the city guest was Ben. Football with Ben. I call him Beautiful Ben because he is beautiful, but he's bigger than me now. And so Ben started a little podcast called Football with Ben on Instagram. And John Gibbo from the Anfield Rap, who was another previous guest, arranged for Ben to come into Ammo in West Derby and have a cup of coffee with me. Little did Ben know that he was getting a surprise. So he just thought he was coming for a cup of coffee with me and something was going to happen, but he didn't know what it was. And Costa Simicast and Mo Salah came in. And when Mo came in and he said, "I'm looking for Ben," it was just the best thing that I've ever seen in my life. It was just amazing. It was like, I just loved every minute. And his little face, and then he was like, "That's me." And he got a shirt and a scarf and a football and tickets to go and see them train.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
He then ended up interviewing Mo, which was hilarious. So Ben is never ever speechless. He just like talks for England. It's hilarious. And then after they'd all gone, he sat down and then he was like, "I don't think I've ever been speechless before, but I am now." And he was speechless for about 6 minutes while it all sunk in. And it was just fab. So massive shout out for Ben. He did really, really well. Because to have a surprise sort of sprung on you, but yeah, he handled it really, really well. So I'm proud of Ben. Well done.
Brilliant.
So that was cool. So Bernie is our guest, and he's given up his time to join us today, and he's going to tell us all about the Boat of Hope and what it is and everything else. But first, we're going to play this or that, Bernie. Okay. So Sandra's going to ask me and you. I'm going to ask you and her. Who's going first, San, me or you?
Go on, you can.
Okay. A puzzle book or a pack of cards, Bernie?
A pack of cards.
Pack of cards. What about you, San?
A puzzle book. As you can do it if you're on your own as well.
Oh, that's true.
So this was part of like being on your own, which we'll find out a little bit more of why I asked sort of.
Yeah.
All right. You can play patience and you can play things like that on your own. I'd probably go a pack of cards as well, Bernie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Go on, San.
Okay. A yacht or a kayak, Bernie?
Oh God. It would have to be a kayak for me.
Mine would be a £4 million yacht.
Yeah, a 4 million. I could manage.
Or maybe more. They're probably more than that. They're probably more like 40.
We're at the cruise terminal at the moment. If you want one.
Yeah, they're probably about £40 million. Yeah. Okay. What about you, San? No, and in all fairness, I'd have a kayak because I'm not a lover of.
I'd have an enormous yacht, as you say, with a crew and all the rest of it, and I just like sip a drink or what have you. But I did, we went in the canoe. It was a canoe, not a kayak. When I went to, in the Albert Dock when we went with Martin Sang, and that was brilliant. So I love that. Last autumn, that was now.
It was a year ago last week. Yeah.
Last week.
Last week, it was a year ago. Popped up on my time up, yeah. Okay. Bernie, yes. Rum or whiskey?
Oh God. I'd have to say whiskey.
And we'll find out why whiskey in a minute. San?
Rum. And that's the nautical drink, Bernie, isn't it? Rum.
It is the nautical drink. You're absolutely right. A tot of rum. Yeah.
I'm being quite themed on my this and that.
I can see that, Helen. I can see
which is quite unusual. I don't like either, but I'd probably go rum more than whiskey. Okay. But I don't like either of them. Go on, Sam.
Okay. Kayaking then, because that's what you chose. In the river or a lake?
I'd go. Is this me, Sam?
Yeah. Sorry, Bernie.
I'd say river for me because it's got a lot more challenging.
Terrifying.
I'd go the same. Whitewater river and type rafting.
Yeah.
I'd say a lake, and instead of the kayak, I'd exchange it for a pedalo.
Well, Natalie Billings has got one of them.
Go on, Hel.
Okay, my last one. Sailing or rowing, Bernie?
Oh, it's got to be rowing for me.
San?
Rowing. I'm more,
rowing.
I can't sail, but I can row, so that would be better for me.
Yeah, rowing for me as well, because I think you're a little bit more in control. You're probably not, but yeah. Okay, last one for you, San, is it?
Yeah. Okay, so we know historically sailors had different vitamin deficiency, etc. when they were at sea. So let's have a think about that. So oranges or apples?
Oh, right. Okay. I'd go for oranges, but if I could change it to a lime, I'd have a lime. Because that's why we're called limeys, you see.
That's right.
Because the sailors used to eat limes to actually keep the scurvy away.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd go orange, I think.
I'd go orange.
I think I'd like apples because I like cooked apples as well, like apple pie and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm changing to apple.
Citrus fruit, you just eat it raw.
Well, if you put your orange in the microwave for 10 seconds and it's amazing. It totally changes the taste of an orange.
With cinnamon sprinkled on it.
Oh,
I haven't thought of that one. I just lash it in, yeah.
Is that an apple or an orange with cinnamon? Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, try that. Okay, so Bernie is our guest today. We are super, super delighted. He's got an amazing, amazing story about all the stuff that he's gonna do and that he's already done. And we went to Natalie Rivington.
Natalie Reeves Billing.
Natalie Reeves. I always get it the wrong way around. Natalie Reeves Billing. Oh my days! I'm not even going to say her name anyway. Natalie did a book launch, and she was our guest on here. And then her book launch was the next day, wasn't it? And we went to have a look at the and Bernie got up and did a talk. And Natalie's, with the boat, Bernie the boat, and it really what Bernie said. I'm like tiny tears anyway, and I got a bit emotional. And I did me don't blink thing, where I just open my eyes dead wide and I don't blink. And I just thought it's an amazing thing that you're doing, and the reasons why you're doing it are incredible. And I thought, what an amazing guest, but he probably won't come on our show. And at the end, we went over and asked if Bernie would, would you. And you agreed to come on, and we're absolutely honoured and delighted that you've got the time to spare for us tonight. And I think to share the message of why you're doing it and the story behind it. So we're going to hand it over to you. Okay. You've got about 40-ish minutes, and Sandra and I will probably just butt in as we go along, and we'll talk over each other because we always do that.
Yeah, we want to know why you do what you do. We want to know about your OBE. We want to know all about Bernie and Boaty and your mission moving forward, and how people can see what you're doing, etc.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Well, let's start with the Boat of Hope campaign, because that's the relevant campaign at the moment. That started about 2 years ago, and it started really with a conversation I had with a number of people regarding mental health and well-being, because sadly a number of people in my family suffer with serious depression. And I know as a parent how difficult it is to actually have somebody in your life that's suffering with acute depression, particularly sort of when you're not able to do anything as a parent. It's extremely distressing, to be fair. And when you can't help your child because you physically haven't got the tools to do that, I'm not a psychotherapist, it really makes you feel inadequate and not failing as a parent, but you see your child each day, and you wonder if they're ever going to recover and basically be whatever normal is, which I don't believe there is a normal anymore. So I asked my son, really, that I knew that I really couldn't help him in any particular way, but just sitting aside and saying, you know, really what can be done with regards to mental health and well-being with young people. And he suggested that a great idea would be to actually reach out to the young people. You know, and he's called, when we call young people, we're talking early years here, 5 to 11, and then young adults for 11 to 18. He said, if you can reach out to those groups and start a conversation about how they feel inside their head, you just may stop them at sometime going through to a full blown depression later on in life. So based upon that information, I had a chat to a number of mental health agencies that I'm very close to, the Samaritans, and a great agency here in Liverpool, which you must have him on as a guest. He's just absolutely incredible. Jake Mills from Chasing the Stigma. Yeah. Just an amazing man, and an incredible charity that he's put together, which is saving lives day by day with his Hub of Hope. So I spoke to a number of agencies, and I said, well, listen, I really do want to reach out to young people, and I do really want to start that conversation. How do you feel it would be a good idea for us to start that conversation? Because there are so many amazing mental health charities around in the United Kingdom. Is there a different way in which we can do it and actually open up that conversation with a young person, which is extremely difficult to do? And the overwhelming suggestion that came back was using the creative arts, because art speaks many, many words without actually speaking anything. And the creative arts basically stretches into all sorts of genres, which is basically writing, creative art itself, animation, film, music, words. So I sat down with a blank piece of paper and I thought, right, how can I actually reach out to people with creative arts, but also possibly mix in adventure as well? Because we know that physical activity is a good antidote to feeling down. But when you actually get out and do something, whether it's in the fresh air, whether it's a walk, whether it's a row, whatever it may be, you always feel a little bit better because of the natural endorphins that start running around your body and make you feel having a natural high. So I sat down and I thought, right, okay, can I do an adventure and mix it with the message of getting that sort of what does hope mean to you out to everybody? And I started rowing about 3.5 years ago. And I fell in love with the sport, and I became the British Rowing Foundation manager. I founded the charity for British Rowing. And I could see the impact that rowing was having, particularly in deprived areas around the United Kingdom, because the charity looks after young people in deprived areas around the United Kingdom and gives them the opportunity to actually row a boat. Excuse me. And it was transformational what I saw in the year that I was actually with British Rowing. So I thought, if I can take that concept and mix it in with the creative arts and come up with a row that could actually depict that, I've got it cracked. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, well, I know the event for you. It's the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge, which takes part every year. And it's a race across the Atlantic from Tenerife to Antigua for 3,000 miles. And you can do it solo, or you can do it in a double or a triple or a quad or a quintet. And I thought, that sounds really cool. So I checked it all out, saw how difficult it was. I saw how well structured it was with regards to, it has a global audience of 950 million people.
Wow.
So a lot of people watch this race. It's on Sky Telly, and it's got its own, it's honestly, it's incredible the amount of people that watch it around the world. So I thought, what an amazing place to actually put a boat in the middle of it, which is very different than any other boat, which actually would be a floating work of art, which actually would depict the story of a young person going through depression on one side of the boat and then coming out the other side with hope. Yeah. So I sat down with that thought in my mind, looked at all the costs associated in doing it, reached out to a lot of people that I've known in the past that I've done challenges with around the world. And they said, you'd be crazy not to do it. So here we are.
I thought you were going to say you'd be crazy to do it then.
Well, I suppose you have to be a bit crazy to do things like this, but it's usually the crazy people that change the world.
Definitely, 100%.
And you know, we've got lots of crazy folks in Merseyside that are doing incredible things. I love them all. You know, so that's where we were. So I sat down with a fresh sort of clean sheet of paper, and I thought, right, okay, let's go out and talk to the people that really matter, which is the young people. So working with my sponsor, which is a company called Parent Pay, and they have connections with around about 6,500 schools in the United Kingdom. And I reached out to Parent Pay and I said, listen, what I'd like to do is reach out to all those pupils around the country and ask them a question about what hope means to them. Really simple question. Now, remember that we're just sort of midway through the pandemic at this stage. And obviously the schools weren't in situ. So we reached out to the schools who were actually doing at-home learning at the time. And we basically set a competition. And excuse me, the competition was to enter a picture, some words, poetry, animation, a story about what hope meant to a young individual. So we went out to 5 to 11-year-olds, and we went out to 11 to 18, the young adults, and we were literally inundated with artwork, words, poetry, stop motion, everything you could conceivably think of. We were honestly, we had to judge all of these entries and come out with 6 winners that were going to have their artwork put onto the boat and integrated into a giant mural that I've commissioned with an amazing artist called Justin Eagleton. So we chose 6 winners, really difficult to do. And we then invited the 6 winners with their teachers and their parents down to our official launch, which was at the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich. And we saw the boat being unveiled by the Minister of Health, Gillian Keegan. We invited Gillian, and she kindly came along in the second week of her role and unveiled the boat in front of the public. It was amazing to see. And the work of art that Justin had put together with myself was just incredible. So the mural, which is called Hope, is now wrapped around my ocean-going boat, which is due to take part in the Talisker Whisky Atlantic Challenge on the 12th of December, which will be seen by over 950 million people worldwide. And it's the only boat in the fleet that hasn't got a corporate logo on it. There's no logos on it whatsoever. It's a floating work of art. Honestly, it's so
beautiful.
What an amazing thing for the young people to be part of, to be able to say, and it must have been the trickiest thing, you know, choosing
the six winners.
It must have been really tricky.
Justin and myself and also a representative from Parent Pay. We sat down, and it was just so difficult to choose. But the good news is that all of the entries are actually going to be on display at our exhibition in Liverpool Cathedral in May next year. So all of the artwork is going to be there on display for 2 weeks, which is fantastic.
And people have been able to see it because you've been in Liverpool 1, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've been going out and about. So where are you going to Garston tomorrow? Is that right?
Yeah. Garston Park tomorrow, and from 12 till 3 at their health activity and fun day. And then we're in Liverpool 1 the following day on Thursday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 p.m. in the evening in Paradise Place, just opposite John Lewis. We had an incredible time there a couple of weeks back. I've got a great story to tell you that we were there, and basically we was only there for about an hour, and this gentleman came up to me and loved what he said. What you doing? I explained to him what we were doing. A great Scouse guy. And explained what we were doing. He said, "Oh, mate, that's amazing." He said, "How can I make a donation?" So I said, "Well, you can tap the boat, because we've got a tap to donate on the boat, which basically gives you an interactive surprise." Oh, wow. And we were only asking for £1 because of the austerity that we're in at the moment.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, no, I want to give you a little bit more than £1." I said, "Okay, well, if you go online," and the boat's interactive, so he put the QR code on, went to the website, and he said, "Right, I've just made a donation. I think what the campaign is doing is amazing." And he said, "I hope it'll help." And I had a little look, and it was £1,000.
Oh, isn't that amazing? People
Just Scousers are just ace, aren't they?
Amazing.
Listen,
So all the money that's raised, Bernie,
Yeah.
what's happening with the money that's
Yeah.
raised?
It's going into 3 places. So which you've obviously had Natalie on your show a
Yes.
while back. So Natalie is one of my ambassadors. She's my children ambassador for the Boat of Hope. Of course, she's the author of our book, which is incredible.
Let's just, whilst we're talking about where the money's going, let's just mention the book now. So Rebecca, Jacob's mum, hasn't even seen this yet. So I teach a little boy with autism, and this is for him, and you sign that for me. So he's going to get that. So this is a mint copy. This is signed by you to Jacob. And I love this. And when we went to Natalie's book launch, Where Is My Smile? You were there, and she was talking about this as well. And because I didn't know anything about this, I just thought it was fantastic. And and you were saying you were training today, and
that's exactly what it feels like.
There's the sore hands in the bows, but it's honestly, it's a brilliant book for a child.
Thanks. I mean, I have to say that, you know, Natalie I love that girl to bits.
Yeah, she's ace.
She's absolutely wonderful. For many reasons, I could talk about her for hours. She's got an amazing heart, and she gives everything to everybody, she's an amazing entrepreneur. Big shout out also for our incredible illustrator as well. Just an incredible illustrator. The book's been that successful that it's now been made into a cartoon.
I saw a little clip on your Facebook page, which we'll share as well.
And then Mel C's voiced it for us as well, which is pretty cool. She's another cool Scouser. We've got Sacha Dhawan, who's an amazing actor. He's actually on it as well. So all the profits from that book actually go into really three particular activations. We're giving a third of it to the Samaritans. We're giving a third of it to Love Rowing, which is helping young deprived children get into rowing and help their mindset as well, their well-being. And the good news is that Natalie has actually raised a huge amount of money for our Bernie and Boaty Builder book. So we've actually got enough funds now to actually fund over 5,000 Bernie and Boaty Builder books, which are going to be given to deprived areas in Liverpool, to young children living in deprived regions of the Liverpool City region, and they're going to be distributed early next year. And she's raised a significant amount of money, which has really almost tipped us over our target figure, which is £100,000. So it's just incredible.
And Bernie, it says at the back of the book, you've raised over £42 million.
Yeah, I've raised over £42 million in the last 40 years.
42 million. One human being has led initiatives that have raised £42 million. That's incredible. I buy into massively what you say about the books and the rowing for people in deprived areas, because as a former teacher, I taught people, and we'd give them books to take home to the library, or I'd get the book tokens and get the books for them. And I taught many children who didn't have a book in their home. A lot of people don't realise. And when you think now, if you're buying a new book for a child, if you're looking at £10, £12 for something, a little book, think of how much food that can buy. And if you're a parent or a carer having to make the choice between one or the other, you have to pick food in terms of your hierarchy of needs. Also about the rowing, you know, a lot of people might associate rowing as something to do with Oxbridge, don't they? They don't necessarily.
Sam, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, we've got Liverpool Victoria Rowing Club where we to go, which is in the docks.
That's right.
Anyone can access that, and they make it it is very, very cheap for kids.
It is absolutely right. It's not. It's people do naturally think it's a posh person's sport.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it used to be, but effectively, British Rowing and Love Rowing in particular are helping clubs in deprived areas such as Liverpool Victoria. Warrington Youth Rowing is an amazing rowing school that helps young people in deprived areas get into sport, and it transforms lives. When you get a kid that basically doesn't even know what a rowing boat looks like, and you stick them in a rowing boat for the very first time, it's just transformational. And we're doing an amazing thing at my own club here in Chester. Chester Grosvenor is a people's club. It's not full of posh people. It's just full of normal people, if whatever normal is. And we have an amazing coach that's actually training the world's first blind rowing boat team.
Wow.
They come from the incredible St. Vincent's Blind School in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Led by the inspirational John Patterson. I don't know whether you know John at all. He'll be a great guest for you, Helen and San. Honestly, John is just a god in my mind. But St. Vincent's Blind School are actually learning how to row. Just think about 8 kids in a boat that can't see, actually rowing a boat. And
Bernie, you're talking to somebody, Helen, who went to Saudi Arabia to teach PE and had blind children doing hurdles.
Wow.
All about it. Everything we do is in our business. It's all about inclusion. Everyone, I'm all about everyone can learn. Helen's all about everyone can access physical activity. So it's our absolute passion what you're talking about. So it doesn't surprise us at all. And I think that's wonderful.
Thank you. Oh, well done, Helen. That sounds amazing what you did in Saudi. Wow.
It was unbelievable. And you know, St. Vincent's is an amazing school. And
oh my God.
We're watching we watch the Commonwealth Games and we watch, the Paralympians, and we've just got amazing people doing amazing things, and you can achieve, and it's with great help from local grassroots who invest their time. And imagine being blind but getting in a rowing boat and feeling, you'll feel
sensation of water, balance.
Yeah, and you've got like the wind in your face, and there's so many things, and they're experiencing exactly the same, experiences as you would. So before you said that you got into rowing, was it 3.5 years ago? Have you never rowed before then?
No, it was something that my partner and I was actually walking down. I live in North Wales, and the nearest city is Chester. It's just about 15 minutes away from me. And I was walking down. We were just me and Sharon, my partner, were going down for a walk down the Groves in Chester. I don't know whether you know it. Beautiful part of Chester. And I was walking over the suspension bridge in Chester, and I saw this amazing vision of this like thin pencil coming down the river with these 2 things sticking out, just gliding down like a swan. It was just beautiful. It was very serene. And I turned to Sharon and I said, do you know what? I'd love to do that. As you do when you're doing these things. Never thought anything of it. Walked past the rowing club. Sharon took a photograph of the Learn to Row poster. I came home and she said, well, there you go. Bring up Learn to Row and go over and learn. Nothing stopped you in the past. So I rang them up. 3.5 years later, I'm going to row an ocean.
Have you rowed an ocean before?
Never. No, I've never. Rowing an ocean is very different than rowing a boat on a river.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Very, very different types of boat, different water. So no, to actually qualify for this race that I'm going into, you have to actually row the boat for a minimum. That's the ocean going rowing boat. You have to row it for 120 hours to qualify. Wow. I've done 220 hours in it now. And I've also been in the North Sea for 5 days. That's 5 days and 5 nights, just to basically get myself orientated with it. And I've got 2 more days on the North Sea next week. I'm going over to Hartlepool, and I've got 2 days and 2 nights on the boat next week in the North Sea. So it's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Have you got a coach? Is somebody coaching you?
Yeah, I've got an amazing coach called Duncan Roy, and I've also been coached by an incredible athlete and world record holder, Charlie Pitcher, who is the world record holder for the fastest solo row across the Atlantic. So
why didn't you go to you and put him in with you?
I'm going to say, sneak him in the back cabin. And I have an adage in everything that I do in life, and it really works well for everybody. And I mentor people around the world, young people around the world, and they always say to me, how do you acquire a skill? How do you actually improve yourself? Well, you go and see the best you can possibly get. And you pick up the phone and you ask that question, can you spare me 10 minutes over a cup of tea? I love what you're doing, and I think I can learn from what you've done, and I'd love to come and speak to you. and it's never failed. I've never had anybody turn around and say, no, bugger off. Sorry, I should say
That's
swears.
good.
So yeah, I rang up Charlie and I rang up Duncan, and both incredible ocean rowers. In fact, Duncan's just finished the first navigation around the United Kingdom in a rowing boat. He finished it 2 days ago.
Wow.
And he now is a Guinness World Record holder. So these guys know ocean rowing like there's no tomorrow, and you just learn from the best. So I've been speaking to those folks, I've been reading books, I've been reaching out to solo rowers as well who've actually done it to really acquire their knowledge. And of course, I've been out on the open sea as well. What's
the biggest piece of advice that they've given you?
Wow, gosh. I think really to be prepared, you know, it's the 6 Ps, you know, perfect preparation prevents poor performance. There is another P in there, but we will talk about that. So, you know, it's the 5 Ps, isn't it? Should I say, not the 6. So it's just to be prepared. And just to give you an idea of the preparation, that the organizers are very strict on making sure that you're in great shape, both physically, but also the boat has to be in great shape by the time it gets to the start line. So I've just had my first inspection of my boat and my gear, and that inspection took 3.5 hours.
Wow.
They absolutely scrutinize everything for your safety. So they put safety first at everything. So there's always a contingency if something happens at sea.
And that's reassurance, isn't it? You know, for so how long is the row going to take?
The row can take up to 3 months. So it's 3 months alone at sea, and it could be a little bit quicker. It all really depends on one thing that you've got no impact on whatsoever, and that's the weather. If the wind blows, it's going to blow the boat backwards or forwards or sideways. You've got no chance of stopping the boat going backwards if the wind blows you backwards. All you can do is put an anchor out and basically stay still for a while, and then hope for the wind to change in the right direction. So, and of course, to avoid storms as well is another particular issue that we've got. That's my main concern, the weather.
So do they have support vessels around you?
No, it's completely unsupported. So when you set off from Tenerife, and you can watch me, you can dot watch me as well across. So I can give you.
We'll do that.
We need that.
You can dot watch me over the ocean. No, you're unsupported. So yeah, you've got all your food for 90 days, all your water, which you've got a water maker on board, which turns the salt water into fresh. And you've got an amazing piece of kit around you with the boat that you've got. And then, of course, you've got 2 of these. So it takes 1.5 million oar strokes to get across the Atlantic.
I remember you saying that. I remember you saying it was one, and I thought, what, 1.5 million?
Bernie, when you've done it, you'll have to come back and tell us all about it.
Oh, I'd love to come back and chat to you.
Oh, I mean, my goodness.
Do you have communication while you're there? Have you?
Yeah, the boats are full of technology.
Right.
It's incredible what you can do these days. And one of the school kids at Bidston actually was only a little tot. They all put their hands up, and they always ask the toilet question. But they said, "Well, have you got Wi-Fi on board, Bernie?" And everybody laughed at this little lad, thinking, "How will you get a Wi-Fi signal in the middle of the Atlantic?" Well, the answer is yes, I have. So because technology is advancing so quickly. So what I've got on board is a Wi-Fi hotspot, which is called a BGAN.
Mm-hmm.
So it connects with satellites above the Atlantic, and Elon Musk has actually just put them up into space. So it allows me to actually send pockets of data and have conversations live from the Atlantic. So I'm going to bring the row to life in such a way that's never been seen before. I've got incredible cameras on board, which are state of the art, it's called Insta360 and GoPro 7. I'm going to basically do that all the way across. I've got 40 telephone calls to make with 40 schools. So they're already booked in. Fantastic. So we're going to speak to schools live from the Atlantic.
Will you be sharing this on your pages? Because where I'm going with this, we have Fran on, and she's just trekked across Mongolia on horseback.
Wow.
And she's coming on. And we had Leslie from Strawberry Fields who did a trek up a mountain in Morocco.
Yeah.
So we're having both of those are coming back on to talk about it. But
Yeah.
whilst because certainly Fran's journey was 3 months, we kept sharing it on the page. So will
Amazing.
we be able to share it from your page?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all going to be at boatofhope.com. So we try to make it really simple. So all of the information, all of the live feeds will be directed to the actual the actual website. And you'll be able to follow me on YB Races. That's the app that you download for free.
Okay.
And you can.
I've just shared the boatofhope.com.
That's it. Oh, fantastic! Thank you, Helen. So yeah, and also as well. Yeah, okay, Pete, no problem. I'll obviously keep you involved in what's happening at all. That's no problem whatsoever. You can drop me an email as well if you want, Peter, if you want some more information. So I'm taking also letters of hope from high school students that have written me letters. So,
oh my days,
these are just some of the letters I've got here.
Oh,
and I've got 51 letters of hope. But I'm actually getting another 40 letters of hope.
I was going to say you need 91 for every day.
Well, they're coming from China. So I've actually engaged in a high school in China with an amazing lady called Rena Rowley. I don't know if you know Rena.
Rena, yeah, I know Rena does Mandarin teaching for me and interpreting. And we've done a joint collaboration with China. I think you spoke on the course.
I did. Yeah. I spoke at their course, and the students said, right, how can they help me? So they're going to write English letters of hope to me because obviously I can't read Mandarin, and we're going to read one of those out every day and record it to camera.
Brilliant!
Send that back to the school and also post it on our website as well. So we're actually going to hear what young people think hope means to them, which is pretty cool.
Well, let's hope that the 950 million people who are watching all donate £1 to you, Bernie.
Oh, Helen, that would be amazing. But you know what's even more amazing? Money's great. Don't get me wrong. It really oils the wheels of charities, and we can't do without it. But this campaign is about having a conversation about how you feel in your head and your heart.
Yeah.
That's all. And it's just having that conversation with your little one, or your young adult that's come in from school, just sitting down and listening and looking for those little red flags that actually come up when you can actually sense there's something not right. I just pushed the boat for 370 miles around RAF Lynham.
Yeah.
And we did that for a specific reason. We did 370 miles in 30 days to represent the lives of the 370 young people that lost their lives to suicide. And I was very, very fortunate. I invited some of the parents who had lost their children to come and push the boat with me. Wow. And they said to me after the end of their mile, and they said to me, because they knew I was going to go on a high school tour shortly after that, they said the one thing that we'd ask everybody to do, because we didn't know that Johnny was depressed and was going to hang himself. We just basically asked those parents and carers, guardians, and teachers to actually listen and get that conversation open really, really quickly about how you feel inside your head. We didn't do that, but other people can. So the boat is a catalyst for a conversation. And it's incredible. The results that we've seen with the children that have seen the boat is absolutely amazing. We've had children in tears running up to us, saying to us, it's the first time we've spoken about how I feel inside my head, because I've actually put it down as a piece of art in front of the boat. It is absolutely, truly incredible. So money, please, please, please. But just first and foremost, everybody, don't forget, everybody has mental health, and we all have to exercise it the best way we possibly can. Please, 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 just have a chat to somebody. And it doesn't matter whether it's your family, your friends, a stranger. Ask them how they feel. Yeah.
And we talk about good mental health as well. There is good mental health, and it'd be amazing, to share and to know that it's okay to have the conversation as well, and that you haven't got to, not speak about it. And
there's no issues about mental health whatsoever. Everyone's got it. Some people have got it okay, some people haven't. So help the people who are in that dark place try and find some light.
100%. It's absolutely, it blows me away every time I think about it. And now I know more about the actual race itself. truly incredible.
Thank you.
Have you been doing any mindfulness training, or because I'm sure physical
Yeah.
strength will be amazing, but
Mhm.
I'm sure mental strength is probably I would
Yeah,
say probably 80%.
absolutely. You're right. There are going to be very dark times. There's no question about it whatsoever. I mean, I think I've experienced some of that when I was out on the sea for 5 nights and 5 days a wee while back, and you feel so isolated because all you've got around you is Mother Nature, and sometimes you become very scared and really very vulnerable. So that's not a bad thing, to be fair. And it's you can't be a brave macho individual all the time. It's just ridiculous. You are who you are, and you learn from how you feel. And it's those experiences have helped me going forward. I truly don't know, to be honest with you, how it's going to go in the 90 days that I'm at CLO. I've got my little Wilson, because Tom Hanks had his Wilson, who sadly he lost on the ocean when he got off the island. Well, I've got an amazing teddy bear that I'm bringing, and it is an amazing teddy bear. It's called Wing Commander AB Bear. And Wing Commander AB Bear, because I'm working with the armed services with the Boat of Hope as well.
Right.
Wing Commander AB Bear is the Royal Air Force mascot for mental health.
Brilliant.
And he has actually flown all around the world. The bear's basically got more air miles than anybody, and he's flown on so many different types of aircraft. He's actually even flown in a Red Arrow as well. So the Royal Air Force and his owner, an amazing guy called Richard Bland, have actually said that would I like to take him across the Atlantic with me for AB to keep me company. And I've said he's on board, fella. So he's just had his life jacket made, and he's all set and he's in training at the moment. And I'm picking him up shortly to actually come on board with me, so he goes over to La Gomera. But the armed services have just been incredible. I've worked with the Navy, the Air Force, and also the Army, and we've reached out to thousands of armed services folks because mental health and suicide is a huge issue in the services, and we're starting to save lives.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. And Bernie, just I was having a look through the book then when you were speaking, to see if I could see it. But your guitars are you taking a guitar with you?
Yeah, I'm taking my ukulele.
Ukulele, sorry.
Yeah, I'll just grab one for you.
Sorry to the illustrator, Lisa Williams. It's clearly a ukulele.
I play very badly. I play ukulele.
Oh, you'll be excellent by the time you finish.
Well, it's
90 days practice. You'll be brilliant.
I've got so it's not in tune, but yeah. So this is a waterproof ukulele, and I'm going to play one tune every day. So I'm taking requests at the moment, and so yeah, it's a ukulele. Ukulele is a really love of mine. I've been playing it now for about 10 years.
Brilliant.
And, we taught St. Vincent's Blind School how to actually play ukulele.
Brilliant.
And the first blind ukulele band in the world. And I taught them how to play with an incredible group of ukulele players from Liverpool that came in, and we actually trained them over a year on how to play ukulele. So yeah, I'm going to play lots of tunes.
Brilliant.
As I go across the ocean. And sing lots of tunes.
Fantastic. And that'll keep you busy as well.
Absolutely.
You'll be like George Formby when you finish that trip.
Cleaning Windows is one of my favourites, actually. It's one of my signature tunes.
Well,
amazing. It's unbelievable, and we wish you all the luck in the world, and we know that you're going to succeed, and it's going to be amazing.
No wonder you've got an OBE.
Yeah. We need a few more letters after that. My Uncle Ron's listening in, and he says, "Can you put it on Facebook the same as Fran McNichol?" And we'll share it, and I think it'll be great to follow the progress and your journey.
Absolutely. It's all on the website, so just go to boathope.com, and there are ways in which you can get involved. You don't have to donate because we're in really tough times, folks. So You know, you did say that every pound counts, and with basically the energy going through the bloody roof at the moment as well, we greatly appreciate that. But there are other ways in which you can support the campaign as well.
Fantastic. I can't wait to follow it, you know.
Oh, thanks.
I think it's good you're going from Tenerife in December, but I'm quite concerned about some of the...
Is it Antigua? Is it Antigua that you're saying?
Yeah, we rode west to Antigua, so we'll see a huge amount of marine wildlife en route. So we'll see whales, sharks, porpoises, dolphins, turtles, jellyfish, translucent plankton, flying fish, marlin, all sorts of marine life.
And you're out the hurricane season then as well.
Oh, the hurricane season, Sam. Yeah, well, good spotted. Yeah, hopefully there won't be any hurricanes coming our way.
Well, you'll be fine that time. You'll be all right. November they finish. Brilliant.
And it'll be nice and warm when you land. What you say? Are you going to have? You're going to have a couple of weeks there to recover.
Yeah, when I get there, all my family are coming out to say hi and meet me at the finish line, and yeah, I'm going to have a couple of weeks off, and then the boat gets transported back to the UK in preparation for our 2-week exhibition at the at Liverpool Cathedral on the 23rd of May next year, and it's a free exhibition, and so we're also going to have a rock concert at the very end of it, by the way, as well. So we've got amazing Liverpool bands coming to play at the end of the exhibition, and it's all free.
Brilliant.
Just putting that on Liverpool Cathedral.
Yeah, so we'll share it as you go, and as you get updates, we'll keep sharing it on the page. Like with everyone who's been on, you'll be always sharing their stuff and things, you know. I just think it's wonderful what you're doing, and we're so lucky to have people like you here.
Oh, no, well,
amazing.
Well, we're all very special. We're all doing amazing things, aren't we?
So if anybody's around, Liverpool won on Thursday.
Oh, God, yeah. Come and say hello. Come and talk about how you feel inside your head. We don't want your money. We want your conversation. And we've got Billy Hoy coming down with Sing Me Merseyside.
Yeah,
he's coming to sing our sea shanty. I forgot about that. So we've got a sea shanty as well, which basically touched the charts a few weeks back. So Up and Down Heart is an amazing song, and if you download it, it costs 79 pence. All the profits are going to the campaign. But Billy's coming with his choir, and he's going to sing Up and Down Heart at the boat on Thursday lunchtime.
Oh, fabulous.
And it's kids' holidays, isn't it? And the buses are back on, so get yourselves down.
We want the young people to come down. We want the grands, granddads. Everybody's welcome. Yeah, come and see it and have some fun.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Just unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. So we do have a little format, but I think we could talk to Bernie forever, and we're definitely going to get him back to come and share the journey, and we will share the journey. But we do have a red face moment. Anything slightly embarrassing that's happened to you this week that people can laugh along with, not at you. Yeah, so I'm going to go first on this one. So I technically shouldn't have been here tonight because I was going to the cricket with my dad, but it's not. It's next week. So thank you to Brian Quinn for offering to be our co-host with Sandra today. And then I had to message him yesterday and say, Bri, I'm not going to cricket tomorrow. I'm going next Wednesday. It's not even on a Tuesday. So I don't know what I was doing there. So, but thanks to Bri anyway. Anything for you, San?
Yeah, loads. I've forgotten them all. I need to, there's that many now. I need to start writing them down, Helen, honestly. It's just mortifying.
Anything for you, Bernie?
Not really. I take my lovely dog, Murphy, to agility lessons. And he's coming on a treat. And I was there this week, and it was a little bit slippy. And basically, we were going around the course really, really well. And I slipped over on my backside and flew down the course, and then Murphy completes it perfectly without me actually telling him what to do, and then sits there looking at me as if I've got two heads on me.
Where were you?
It was a little bit of an ass, to be fair. And the trainer was looking at me saying, "What sort of shoes have you got on?" Well, I've got deck shoes which haven't got any grip. Yeah, so it was like sort of on a sort of an ice rink, really. But it was a bit funny. It was a bit funny, and I think my dog saw the funny side of it as well.
Brilliant. Well done, Murphs, as well, for doing them. So shout out to grown-ups, any grown-ups who've done amazing things this week. So I'm going to give the first shout out to John Gibbo from the Anfield Rap. He's an ace human being. and to be able to sort what he did for Ben was unbelievable. And Ben did a little video to say thank you, and I sent the video to John within like 10 seconds, and literally within seconds John had sent me the photographs of Ben and Mo in the venue. John wasn't even in the venue, and the guy had taken them, and he sent them, and there were there's this amazing photograph which is the camera with on the screen of what it's been taken of Ben, and it's just a cracking photograph. So just a massive thank you to John Gibbo for thinking of Ben and just being an ace human. So thanks to Gibbo. What about you, San?
Just there's a lot of people in the city doing free uniform stuff. So I shared something this week. Kelly Nash, Steph Tomlinson, and Pam Richards doing free uniform. Massive shout. Fran, who's been on our show before for the Big Help Project. This Ukrainian mum in tears, not knowing how she was going to buy the blazer for her child to go to school, sorted all his uniform out. Those purple blazers for St Edward's aren't cheap. Sorted the uniform out for her boy. You know, all these people upset. Haven't they? Just Google online. There are that many uniform places, and you think, oh, it's secondhand. They're immaculate. There's no shame in it. Just take a bit of help for school. Get your kids in the right uniform so they don't stand out. You can get them all from these places free or for buttons. All the people out, and they're all working. Big Help Project have got a massive uniform drive on this week as well.
They're doing pencil cases and pens as well, aren't they? Because that's another big thing with people going back to school. It's the pencil cases, the pens, the bags. So if anybody's got any stationery sets lying around, who've got kids, you know, who've been bought them as presents or something, and you know, maybe there's a little spare one going there if you could donate it.
And I want to also just dead quick, I know I'm doing loads, but there's so many good things going on this summer. Massive shout out to Jill and Kev from An Hour of Others, and Stacey, who have just finished the big kids camp. They did, you know, they do a big program for the summer, and they had a break. Just what they do for the kids is amazing, and it's life changing. You know, we're so lucky.
100%. What about you, Bernie? Any grown-ups you want to give a shout out to?
God, yeah, so many, so many. As San say, there's so many people doing amazing things in Merseyside. To my amazing mate Robbie Davison, who's actually runs an incredible social enterprise called Can Cook, who's producing fresh food and fresh meals that basically are so nutritious they're just unbelievable to deprived families in the Merseyside and Flintshire region and also in Wirral. Just an amazing man, Robbie Davison. I love you. Also to the incredible Speedo Mick. Speedo's not very well at the moment. So Mick, I'm sending all my love to you, mate. You're an incredible human being. You're doing amazing things, and you'll continue to do that once you get well. So lots of love from all of Merseyside. We all love you, mate. So, and we're all thinking about you. So take care of yourself, mate. And also, finally, to my lovely mate, I can't forget Natalie Reeve-Billing, my lovely Natalie. Looking forward to seeing her tomorrow in Garston. I think she's amazing, and she continues to do brilliant things on Merseyside. Keep it going, Nat. You're a fabulous star.
Brilliant.
Do you have a positive challenge, Bernie, that people could do?
Oh gosh, a positive challenge. Oh well, it's got to be a mental health one for me. So, you know, a positive challenge will be, and it's bloody. Oh, sorry, I keep saying swearing. Oh, sorry, ladies. It's got to be really sort of. It's got to be mental health, and it's got to be to open a conversation with somebody about how they feel. That is so difficult, and if you can crack it, you know, you can get there, and you can do it quite easily by being an active listener. And people say, well, what's that? And basically what it is shutting your gob and listening to what people have to say. And it's dead difficult. It really, really is. But God give you two of these and one of those. And I've got two massive ones. So it's twice as much listening and half as much talking. Next time when you're with your mate or you sit next to somebody on the bus, let them talk and listen. Really listen to what they're saying.
Amazing. Brilliant. Yeah. And ask people what's going on in your head. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
And people say, like, when people say, how are you? I'm fine. No, but how are you really?
In one, Sam. In one.
Yeah. So we've finished the show. It's flown. Bernie, we could have spoken to you forever. We wish you all the luck in the world
Thanks, Helen.
on your trip. We're going to follow your journey. We're going to share it with everybody. If anybody's around Liverpool 1, drop in and say hi.
Yeah.
Check out theboatofhope.com and you can follow, the journey and stuff. If anybody is able to donate, the money's going to 3 amazing causes.
Certainly is.
And if you can attend in May to celebrate Bernie's achievements, that'll be amazing as well. And so we have a positive mantra that we close with. Do you have a positive mantra, Bernie, that you live by, that you can share with everybody?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's something that basically my mum taught me when I was little, and it was a saying that the more that you give, the more that you receive.
Amazing.
She taught me that from when I was a little toddler, and it's lived with me all my life. And God rest her soul. She was absolutely right. Give everything that you've got away.
Yeah.
You get so much back in return.
Yeah, 100%. Massive thank you for Bernie for giving you time. We know you're super busy. Thank you to Stan. And we'll see everybody next week. Good night.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Helen.